Well, greetings, people of the internet. Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse today. It's kind of a sad day. We're saying goodbye to something that I've had in my possession, and it is a thing. It's not a someone. It's a thing I've had in my possession for, well, nearly 3 years now. And so come on along and I'll explain to you what's going on. So, to suspend the suspense anymore, what I'm talking about is my Synology DS-918 Plus. And it's a 4-bay Synology NAS that has been a trooper, has served me well over the past 2.5, 3 years, has never failed me, has brought me more joy and more excitement and more internet videos than I dare talk about. And hold on, Teams is bothering me here. Let me close that. I hate it when stuff pops up on the screen behind me, don't you? Anyway, it's brought me a lot of joy and a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to play around with the Synology NAS and to get to know it. And yeah, no regrets. I still love Synology as a product. And I know most of you are a big fan of the Synology NAS as well. But some of the things this Synology NAS doesn't do well, or can't do at all, is 10 gig. And as you know, my network, I'm slowly putting 10 gig in. I've got 10 gig switches in. I've got all of my lab units, my enterprise level servers have 10 gig. Both this workstation and my workstation are now 10 gig using fiber. And I do a lot of data transfers around my network as I'm experimenting with different things. Unfortunately, the DS-918 Plus, there's no capability to add a 10 gig networking card to it. It's kind of a sealed unit. The best I could do is 4 gig. I could assign, well, no, it's actually only 2 gig. I could assign the two 1 gig NICs and combine them together and get up to 2 gig out of it. But again, it doesn't put me in what I would call a good situation for 10 gig. The other thing is I'm limited on the amount of RAM I can put into the unit. It's got a really underpowered processor for what it does. I could never even, for example, get Plex running on this stable using subtitles. Because I'm an old guy, I don't hear so well, I need to see the words on the screen. Now I do have the FS1018 that was donated by Sasha over in the UK. Thank you again, Sasha, for that gracious donation. But it only has room for 2.5-inch drives, and I've mainly stacked SSDs into there to get really fast shared storage for my virtual machines, for my lab work, that kind of thing. It does have a more powerful PentiUm-D processor in it, and I have upgraded the RAM on that to 16 gig. I've also managed to put my PBX as a virtual machine on there. I've got a Windows Server 2019 running as a virtual machine and a Windows 7 virtual machine running on there. I did a video on that, and it's running DSM version 7 in beta with no issues at all. So that unit has a 10 gig networking card in it, so it's not going anywhere. But the Synology NAS, the price is right on that. Synology NASs are like Apple products. They really retain their resale value. In fact, I was able to sell this 4-bay Synology NAS for about $550 on eBay, and any minute now it should be delivered into the hands of the person who won the auction on eBay. So if they're watching, I hope they get as much good use out of this as I have. Now I did upgrade this from 4 gig to 8 gig, and that probably helped it sell on eBay. And I'm going to show you some videos of me taking it down and cleaning it, so we'll go ahead and roll that video while I'm talking about what I'm going to replace this with. And one of the problems my brain has is making a decision and sticking with it. It's like having a choice of 300 different flavors of ice cream. I can never pick one and stick with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just the nature of how my brain works. So I have played around with the idea of putting a a TrueNAS server in here and playing around with ZFS. I've done it virtually, but I just don't see TrueNAS as something I would use in either my lab or my business or anything else long term. It's just not appealing to me. The only thing appealing to me under TrueNAS is their ZFS implementation, and frankly, I can roll my own under Linux if I want to do ZFS, so it's not a big draw to me. I could get another Synology NAS in here. I could order the 1621 or the 1821 Plus. They have very powerful processors in them. Well, all things considered now that they've switched to AMD. But they don't come with a lot of RAM, 4 gig. They don't come with a 10 gig network card built in, although you can buy one for a couple of $100. But, you know, I think an entry-level DS1621 Plus is $800. It's $799 plus the cost of a network card. So figure that's a couple of $100 plus the cost of upgrading the RAM, which is, you know, between $50 and $100. So all things said, if I bought another 1621, I'd have almost $1,000 into it before it got to a point where it was something that could actually replace the 918 Plus. Now, I do have another alternative, and that is my Unraid server. So I'll post some video of my Unraid setup while I'm talking about this. So I went back into my Unraid server and here's the deal. It has a Z77DS3H motherboard in there from Gigabyte. It's got the i7-3770, which has a built-in Intel video card on there with QuickSync enabled. So that can be utilized under Unraid and passed through to Plex or Emby and used as the video encoder. Then I have an AMD RX 570 video card I put in there for pass-through to Windows virtual machines or a Linux virtual machine. And then I had another GTX 950 I was going to put in that unit, but decided I would rather have 10 gigabit speed. So instead of that, I put the Mellanox in the second Mellanox 10 gig networking card in the second PCI Express slot, just so I'd have 10 gig connectivity. And you'll see that as I go along in this video, me replacing those components. So I could have taken my 4 6 terabyte drives out of my DS-918 and put them into the Unraid unit, but I already have 4 2 gig spinning hard drives laying around. So I decided we'll just go ahead and keep those 2 gig hard drives into the Unraid server, and then I have since placed that Unraid server into my rack and gotten it configured to where I can use it as a lab server, doing some lab videos on it moving forward. So knowing me, if you do know me as well as I think you do, you know I'm fond of saying I'm the king of cheap. And getting Unky Joe to spend money is not easy, especially on something like a NAS, okay? When you can build your own NAS and you can do it for hundreds, for less than $200, why would you spend almost $1,000 on a NAS unit? Well, for me, there would have to be several reasons. It would have to meet all the bullet points because, like I said, I have Unraid I could build. I have TrueNAS I could build. I could build a NAS out of Proxmox. I could build one under VMware. I could build one under Windows. You have so many choices these days. But I also like a pretty GUI and a nice interface, and I like well-written software. And for years, the Synology has ticked all those boxes. If you've ever used a Synology NAS, you'll know that their software on there is excellent. Their backup software, even their Office software, that they're a replacement for Microsoft Office. If you were in a small to medium business, I still say Synology is the way to go, just for compatibility and for bang for your buck and for all the products you get on it. However, there's they're not really new, but they've been around a while. It's QNAP, and they get I get good and bad. People tell me good and bad about QNAP. You either love QNAP or you hate QNAP. I haven't found anybody who's in the middle ground yet with QNAP. But the unit I was looking at from QNAP, I'll pop that up on the screen here, is I think it's $899. So it's $900 plus tax plus, shipping. Of course, I got Amazon Prime, so the shipping would be free. And I just sold my Synology NAS for the DS-918 Plus, but I only sold that for half of what it's going to cost me to get that QNAP in here. But thanks to the gracious support my Patreon subscribers and my YouTube subscribers, we had a good month and I was able to get the rest of the funds together. So I have indeed ordered this QNAP unit that you're going to see on the screen right now. It'll actually be here today, weather holding out. And I'm going to explain to you why I ordered that QNAP unit, why it ticks all the boxes, and how they got Unky Joe to spend that kind of money. So yeah, I've heard a lot of good and I've heard a lot of bad about QNAP, but very little middle of the road stuff. And there's a YouTube site called QNAP UK, and I've been watching all of their videos, and it's basically the QNAP sales presentations and demos of their software. Because I know what software I have on the Synology, and I know how well I like the Synology stack of software. And I wanted to get a feel for the QNAP software, how it stacks up to Synology. Now, the other benefit of ordering this device on Amazon is I have 30 days to return it for any reason. So if I'm not happy with it, or if I think it's of cheap quality, here comes the rain right on. I love rain on a metal roof. Here comes the rain right on cue. Hopefully the power won't go out. My spouse is outside working, planning stuff, so he should come running in the house here any minute. But I digress. Can you hear the rain? Yeah, pretty heavy. Anyway, I digress. Squirrel. Why the QNAP? Well, the QNAP ticked all the boxes. This unit I ordered has a AMD Ryzen 5 embedded processor, and I believe it's a Ryzen 5. Now, it only has 4 gig of RAM, I believe this unit, or 8 gig of RAM, I'm sorry. This unit has 8 gig of RAM. So we're going to compare this to the Synology 1621 Plus unit. So the Synology comes with a AMD processor, but only comes with 4 gig of RAM. The QNAP device comes with two 2.5 gig Ethernet ports, plus a 10 gig Ethernet port. The Synology only comes with, I believe, 2 1 gig Ethernet ports, and you have to add on 10 gig, you have to add a card. Let's see, what else? The QNAP comes with 5 3.5 inch drive bays, which is an odd number to put on for 3.5 inch. Plus it comes with 4 2.5 inch drive bays, and 2 of those are NVMe compatible. The 1621 comes with, I believe, 6 drive bays and 2 internal NVMe drive slots, or M2 drive slots. Like I said, I've gone over the apps on the QNAP, and they are very comparable to what Synology offers, but you won't know until you put your hands on them. So it has 10 gig built in, 2.5 gig built in, 5 drive bays plus 4 2.5 inch drive bays. It's a powerful it's a powerful AMD Ryzen 5 processor, embedded processor in there, I believe. And the other thing it has that the Synology does not have, which, everybody's been on my ass for years to embrace, is the ZFS file system. And if I were to bump the RAM up on this, I could even get deduplication running. I believe this unit is upgradable to 32 gig of RAM. To upgrade it from 8 to 16 would only be $50, so I'm going to pull the trigger on that as well. The only thing I'm not quite sure about, because of the way ZFS works, if I were to start a ZFS drive pool, I need to start it with the number of drives it's going to have from the beginning, because you cannot expand the drive pool. I only have 4 6 terabyte drives, so that would mean in order to start the ZFS pool at the size I want, I would actually need another drive, another 6 terabyte drive. They're about $150 right now, so I don't know. I'm probably going to just get started with what I have. I can always come back later and add the 5th drive. But this is one of the benefits of Synology over the QNAP unit using ZFS, is that I could expand the storage capacity of the Synology anytime I want, whereas on the QNAP, I have to set up my drives at the beginning. That's one of the downfalls of TrueNAS as well, in my opinion. And you know, there is some question as to whether home users like you and I, or even home lab users, need all the benefits of NFS, because you know, Synology has snapshotting, it has data protection on the drives, it has data scrubbing on the volumes, etc. Just like ZFS has. It's pretty comparable. But I wanted to play around with ZFS to get familiar with it, and I wanted to do it in a GUI-rich environment. Plus, I want to get my hands on the QNAP applications just to see how they actually compare to Synology. So it could be that this turns out not to be a good fit for me, and I may end up returning it or selling the dang thing on eBay and getting the 1621 and just paying the Synology premium, as they say. But time will tell. So there we go. We are saying goodbye to the Synology, and I'm sure it's going to get a good home. I'm going all the way to Florida, so if you're a subscriber or a viewer of Unky Joe's Playhouse, just know that I've taken good care of this unit, and it should give you lots of years of service. And I will miss it, but I do have another Synology NAS here, so I will still have the use of Synology. I haven't given up on it. In fact, I've just sold another DS-918 Plus to a client. It's sitting here on the bench right now getting prepped. It'll be installed on Sunday, and I'm going to do a day in the life video on that one for this client. They're getting ready to move, and we're going to be consolidating a bunch of equipment, a bunch of Windows servers, so we may have some of their old equipment coming back here to be refurbished and sent back out to be repurposed. So yeah, there you go. QNAP, we'll see how it does. We'll see if I love it, if I hate it. And like I said, that's a lot of money for me to spend, so in order for me to keep this device, it's going to have to really shine, be that much better than Synology, and we'll see if it fits the bill. But thanks for coming to see us. Please smash that like button if you liked the video. Leave your comments down in the comments section. Through your continued patronage and your gracious donations, we're able to get things like this QNAP in here. So if you're so inclined, donate. $1 goes a long way to helping this channel keep running. PayPal, Patreon. We also have the YouTube join function. So if you want to become a member of our YouTube club, you hit the join button for $2 a month, auto-recurring membership. Set it and forget it. You don't have to think about it again. Don't forget to come back and see us again. And don't forget, we'll see you on the other side.